The drama between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf doesn't seem to have any closure. In fact, it seems to be getting messier by the day. Recently, the merger between the two organizations caught the attention of the US Department of Justice. Turns out, any agreement between organizations has to be legal under US law, and according to latest reports, a pretty important piece from the agreement has been removed. So, what's the latest news from the PGA LIV merger? Let's find out in today's video. After criticizing Saudi-backed LIV Golf for nearly a year, PGA Tour chairman Jay Monahan was forced to defend the reasoning behind the decision to merge with the very entity that he and the PGA Tour had criticized. Monahan stated that it was impossible to compete with a foreign government with unlimited money. He and the tour were therefore negotiating and waiting for the right time to sign an agreement with LIV. From Monahan's perspective, it seems to be about money. However, the PGA Tour pushed back on this statement, saying, to characterize that this agreement was made due to litigation cost and other use of reserves is an oversimplification. With the end of the fractured landscape in the world of men's professional golf, the PGA Tour has never been a more valuable property. The Public Investment Fund, PIF, has recognized that value and the opportunity for a return on investment with their investment in the tour. Additionally, this transaction will make professional golf more competitive with other professional sports and sports leagues. Now, the PGA Tour offered an opportunity for LIV to capitalize on its investment in professional golf. But in the subtext below those carefully crafted PR statements, there's another story to be told. First, remember that the main headlines in the news about the agreement during the chaotic summer of 2022 were about the big-name players who decided to drop the PGA Tour in favor of big-money deals from LIV Golf. This included players like Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka, who then no longer played on the PGA Tour, potentially drawing fan interest away from the tour. On the other hand, many well-known golfers stayed on the PGA Tour, including stars like Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler. Given the reduction in players announcing moves to LIV Golf in recent months, it may seem like LIV's poaching of PGA players was coming to an end. As it turns out, though, LIV was far from done pursuing top talent in professional golf and even had a big-name player on the radar. According to Golf Channel and ESPN Plus host Matt Adams, there was a PGA Tour player who was in advanced discussions to join LIV Golf before the merger. This player was also recently ranked #1 in the world and is in multiple major champions. There's only one player who fits that category: Jon Rahm. Now, Rahm is one of the game's biggest draws and arguably the top player in the world. As a result, this potential poaching and its continued practice by LIV may have very well contributed to the speed at which the PGA Tour and LIV reached a deal on the agreement. Because of this pervasive poaching problem, the PGA Tour decided to include a so-called anti-poaching provision in the agreement with LIV that was announced in early June. This provision was meant to put an end to the movement of players from one tour to the other. Although the statements put out at the time of the announcement seemed to indicate that things were pretty well settled between the two parties, the agreement was not yet final. In recent congressional hearings, PGA Tour board member Jimmy Dunn said that the framework agreement, although critical for ending the litigation, is very limited in scope. This has been widely misreported, and Tour did not do a good enough job explaining that limited scope so that it was understood by fans, players, the media, and Congress. In addition, the PGA Tour board put out a statement saying that if future negotiations lead to a proposed agreement, it would need approval by the tour's policy board, which includes player directors. In the meantime, they are committed to the safeguards in the framework agreement that ensure the PGA Tour would lead and maintain control of this new potential commercial entity. Since the agreement is still just a framework, it is liable to be changed, and the United States Department of Justice decided to take a look at the legality of the agreement. The anti-poaching provision immediately caught their attention, and they raised concerns to the PGA Tour and LIV that the provision may not be legal under United States law, which attempts to prevent antitrust business practices. According to the New York Times, the decision was an early casualty of an antitrust review by Justice Department regulators who are expected to decide in the coming months whether to try and block the transaction. So it appears that the agreement could still be blocked by the Department of Justice. Removing problematic clauses like the non-poaching provision is one way that the two parties can prevent any kind of issue from derailing their plans. The PGA Tour responded in a statement, which read, The framework agreement sets the stage for an exciting future for professional golf that re-establishes competition at the highest levels of the sport and creates the biggest stage for everyone: players, sponsors, and fans. Based on discussions with staff at the Department of Justice, we chose to remove specific language from the framework agreement. While we believe the language is lawful, we also consider it unnecessary in the spirit of cooperation and because all parties are negotiating in good faith. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed watching this video, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you can see our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.